Today I'm sharing Shehla's story with you. She is a hot tamale, looking so gorgeous and so beautiful. And it's so funny because she's like such a different person. I said, why did you come into the purpose program? And I knew what her biggest problem was. So one of her biggest problems, and one of the things, she was actually suicidal. So she had suicidal thoughts. This is why she came into purpose. And she had done some really, in her words, expensive programs that were a lot, way more money than purpose, and got no results. And she was like super codependent and obsessed with this dude who, it wasn't love, there wasn't a good relationship. And she really thought so her self-worth depended on, does he like me? Does he think I'm beautiful? Does he call me? Is he gonna text me? Is he gonna ignore me for weeks and weeks at a time? And she was obsessed, like super codependent, and called it an umbilical cord attachment. That's how gnarly and codependent and obsessed and addicted to getting her self-worth from a man was. And it's so funny because in the chat, as you'll hear, she's like, dude, I totally forgot about that because I'm so like over that. I don't look for a man for externals. Like, I don't need a man to tell me like I'm good. And we laughed about that because she's like, I can't believe I forgot. That's like, I was dying. I had suicidal thoughts and she was just struggling so bad. And through the purpose program, she completely, we say she transcended that shit. She no longer goes externally. She's not waiting for a man to save her. I've got goosebumps. She is waking up happy. Her kids are like, one of the reasons why she changed was she was crying one day in the kitchen and her son's like, what? He's 19. Like, what's happening? We affect our kids so negatively and we don't mean to. And she's like, my son just loves talking to me now. So you've got to hear her story. A mom, a badass, her light is shining through. She's completely empowered, totally thriving, and she has changed her life. She's a brand new woman and I know you're going to love this one. So let's get right into it. Go Shehla. Good morning, beautiful Shehla. Thank you so much for chatting with me. You look amazing, and that black lace under top is hot. So you literally are a gorgeous, sexy mama. Thank you so much for taking time out. I wanted to have you on because your story is inspirational. You are inspirational, and you're a mom. And I really love hearing from super moms. It's like really exciting for me because I think society, one of the reasons I'm like, she's a mom is because it's really easy to be like, well, she obviously has more time, or look how beautiful she is, or look how happy she is. It was easier for her. So people can't imagine like the state that you came in. Like you're like a different woman, but it's so easy to see the aftermath. It's like the Instagram, like the TikTok, like, the hair thing and like, look, oh my God, 15 seconds later, like that's what we've been brainwashed. It's like 15 seconds later, push a button. And it was really fast if we put it in the perspective of how long we're alive and how long we've been unhappy. Yeah, it does seem like 15 seconds if we put it in a perspective. But there were some things that you did and some choices you had to make. So thank you so much for joining us. Well, you're welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. Can we start by answering, why did you come into purpose? So what were you struggling with? Where was your headspace? Where were you? Where were you emotionally, spiritually? Where were you? Why'd you come in? What was happening? What were your problems?
Okay, so purpose, I started end of March. I enrolled. Lockdown had just started. It was the most lowest level I've ever been. I was depressed. I was very unhappy. Nothing was getting me to look forward to anything in life. No purpose, nothing. And I was just suicidal. There were thoughts. I didn't try it, but I was. I've got two beautiful kids. I couldn't even enjoy them. I couldn't even see how much beauty there was around me. And I had tried other programs in the last few years and nothing had worked. Expensive programs, nothing worked. So that's the level I joined. I was completely out of my soul, in my head all the time, like 24/7 in my head. No connection whatsoever with the real us.
Right.
So I was just a fake pretending to be happy. Nobody could tell how unhappy I was because I had makeup on, this mask on, but inside I was dying, literally dying. And had I not found purpose, I don't know what could have happened. Like serious consequences. It was just, the worst thing was nobody knew. No person in the world knew. And then it was like, whew, an angel went past that was Lani. And I just grabbed on and literally clung onto your wings. And the journey began. Seriously, that's how I feel. From day one, when I connected with you, it was white light, and white light means a lot to me. It means divine intervention, and that's how I felt with you from day one.
Oh, I'm covered in goosebumps. There's a few things that I need to go deeper on with you because I can so resonate. Nobody knowing that we're suicidal. I think that I can totally resonate because I was teaching yoga retreats, like really high end. I wasn't making anything because my standards were shit, but I was teaching high end retreats, the face of spirituality, the body of a yogi, and I was suicidal. And that is insane. And so the messages that I got after I told the truth were like, what the fuck? I had no idea. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, first of all, like that's not how this works, okay? Because like you don't just tell somebody. And I had many people trying to help me. Like if I reached out to my dad, he would have freaking dropped anything, sold everything, cut his arm off to help me. But that's not gonna. I actually wasn't really ready for that shift. So, is it that for you? Is it the just go freaking get on with it? Just put the strong face on. Like mine came from I didn't want to bring anybody down, and I was a perfectionist. So I also didn't want anyone to judge me. I was like, oh, that's fucking embarrassing. Only weak women get suicidal, okay? So I like what was that for you?
A combination of all. So there was dismissal from my very close family, saying, oh, get on with it, you're fine. Yes. So in the past, years ago, if I had told them what I was feeling, it was complete shutdown. No, look at the others, look at them, how they're surviving, you've got a good life. So it's like rejection that I can't even say what I feel.
Yes.
And then there was perfectionism, and to the point of OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, where everything has to be perfect. It has to look perfect. Even in my marriage, I was making everybody believe that all was good, whereas nothing was good. So that, and the fact that all my life I believed weak women cry, weak women break down. How can a strong professional person like me break down? So the biggest problem was me not even identifying what was wrong. And that changed for me. And that's where purpose changed me, my beliefs that it's okay. I am a human being at the end of the day. I don't have to act strong. I can feel what I feel and express it. And that is, like we were discussing before, purpose, although it's basic level, but it was the recognition that what I say means something, and then seeing other ladies and what they say resonating. So that recognition for me changed my world. It was just, and that I didn't get from even family or friends.
So it's like when it's just like, well, if we're feeling suicidal, then it's almost more insane to act like we're not feeling that way. So there's like a moment where we're not being victims, we're not going on and complaining, but it's like we've got to acknowledge that, hey, the thing where we're turning our head and a blind eye, like that's actually just perpetuating that negative feedback loop. And like I wasn't suicidal when I started that denial in my own self, but that's where it got me. So it's obviously not a positive coping mechanism. So just being able to accept exactly how I'm feeling without judgment and thinking, yeah, I'm a broken or I'm a psycho or something like that. It's like, dude, this is where I am. This is how I'm feeling. Look at all the other strong women that felt that way too. And then now like we're even more badass because we're doing something about it. So did you find me on Facebook?
Yes. So it was one of the times when I was very down and just wasting my time scrolling on Facebook, and this ad came up, and I put in my details, and I would have almost forgotten, but this was meant to be because I would have forgotten. So many webinars I enroll on and I forget.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a morning, I think Saturday or Sunday, and I just started the webinar. And my history, and you must know this, is 5 minutes into a webinar, my attention span is gone. 10 minutes in, it's running and I leave the room. 20 minutes in, laptop shuts down. 2 hours for me, I was even shocked. 2 hours, I was like this, sitting on the computer listening to you and thinking, oh my God, this woman who looks so beautiful, she's physically gorgeous, she's talking so nice, she's been there, she's been where I am. And that just kind of was like, okay. So I think I was one of the last ones on the webinar to just put my card details in and say, I'm in, coach, I'm in. Totally. But the 2 hours were just, I just thought, this person can save me. Literally, Lani, I was in hell and I thought, you can get me out. I just felt it. Your energy is just, I just love it.
I love your all the time, and the fact that I've gotten to hug you in real life too, and I'm gonna get to hug you soon again, is so amazing because it's like the reason I think this works is I like I'm like, here, borrow these beliefs. Like, I know you don't feel this way, but look at me. I'm not like freaking more special. I am not more gifted. Like, I swear to God, you have all the ability to do what I've done. And so then it's like you can borrow the beliefs, and then all of a sudden you start embodying them because you want to. And I want to hear from you why this worked when other programs didn't work. But then you start embodying them, and then we become this beautiful like white light together and this circular share. So I don't feel exhausted after because there's so many angels. We're all flying around, and not because we're better than anyone, but we're embodied and we trust to something bigger and greater. And we're like all about the harmony. And then you just share with me exactly what you feel from me, what I share with you, you share with me, and then everyone else feels it. And so we get actually stronger and more white light the more women that come in, and it's not like draining or something like that, because that's not what love is.
Not at all, no.
And it's so amazing. I love that. Total goosebumps. You just light me up. So, okay, I want to know a few things. The first thing is, what was the very first shift, like day one? Like, what was the very first shift? I mean, the very beginning of the program. What were the first things that you started like had positive effects on you? Was it the meditations, the group, or whatnot? So straight away, what were the first things? Because
so the first thing was the meditations, which I had been doing for years, but I didn't know how to meditate. So you, on my first the call we get with you, you said, Shehla, do you trust in a higher being? I still remember. And I said, yeah, I am Muslim, so there's a God and Allah. And you said, okay, just hold on to that. So just hold on to that trust, because I was dilly-dallying about my trust.
Yes.
And I remember you saying, when you meditate, just concentrate on your breath. And nobody had ever said it. I have seen so many videos. I had done so much meditation, but it wasn't literally like, just imagine your breath coming in and leaving. That changed my meditation. And obviously, when my meditation changed, it was affecting me. The other thing was being mindful of what I was doing. I didn't know. I was gulping food, for example.
Same.
And I still do. There's times when you shift back and you think, oh, God, I didn't eat properly. So those two things. So I made meditation on top, a part of my daily prayer. So we pray 5 times a day. And it was just a ritual. It was just actions up and down and saying the Arabic prayers. But then I incorporated meditation into it. And that prayer changes. So I think meditation becomes a part of your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And the presence and purpose, the two things that really shifted me were meditation, effective meditation, and being present. I didn't even know what being present meant.
Yes, same.
Um,
And that was
I
straight away, like for sure within week 1.
that
Yeah.
was within, I would say, at the first phone call, and then
Yeah.
I incorporated it, and then within a week, and then getting into the canoe and seeing other sisters, and it just started making sense. It just started all coming together. So I would say in purpose, that was the two things. The initial hit. Ooh, oh, that's how we do it.
Isn't it mind-blowing that like I can totally live my life being out of my body and in my head. I can have conversations. It's like being at a blackout drunk. Don't think that I have not been told the next day, you did a freaking 5-minute dance solo and backflipped into the splits. I was like, I don't remember. I was blacked out wasted. I'm throwing up the next day. Like, yeah, and you kissed this guy. I was like, I don't remember that either. Like, they're like, I was like, was I talking? Yeah, you were talking and walking and dancing and laughing. I'm like, I mean, that's obviously an extreme example, but in a basic example of just living in my head, eating, not feeling anything, can't even feel myself getting full. Breathing, not aware of it at all. I didn't fucking know that I even could be aware of that. I thought it was something that happened to me, like, my heartbeat. So it's just so insane that we can live our whole lives. And I think this is where the woman who's practiced spirituality, because so you'd practiced meditation and praying forever. I was teaching it. And I'm teaching, I not really teaching, because I think now the definition of teaching is being.
Yes.
Like it's just being it, and feeling it. And like I didn't come to your house and save you. Shehla, are you getting in your body? Are you eating properly? Like that's not how it was. It's just like, I'd love to know again why purpose worked for you. Like why at this time, being a mom with grown kids and being suicidal and trying other programs, why did this work for you?
So purpose, it felt like I was swimming upstream against strong currents, and this ship came along, if a ship can go in a stream, and at the helm is Lani Nalu, and she's cheering everyone, and there's women on the ship, and they throw the line, and they get me up on the ship, and they all supported me, and that's how I literally felt, which I had never felt even with best of friends and family. So if I would say something, the first couple of videos, I was like, do I record this? Do I not? And when I said it and there was cheering or there was support, it's just like, oh my God, I am not abnormal. I am not saying anything unusual. This is what so many people are feeling. And the fact that I am supported. So when I joined, I specifically remember 120 women. And now it's gone up to 300. I mean, within 4 months. And now I'm finding it a bit difficult to keep up with everyone, but it's still, there is so much support. I see videos posted, and whoever can take their time, they're supporting it. And that comes from you. I've never been on a group. I've been on Facebook groups, paid the money, where the house rules are so good. And women are not allowed to post shit on. They can only post good stuff, their feelings, and then the support, the healing sessions twice a month is a lot. We're getting a lot for, honestly, and I'm saying it to you, we're getting a lot for what we give. It's
and for the money too. It's like
for the money,
it's for sure we have scarcity because nobody comes in. If you didn't have these things to work through, then you wouldn't need to come into purpose. It's just the way that it is. And like I know that I had to work through those things before I graduated to my Navy SEAL, which you've graduated and you're a Navy SEAL now. You're with us in 2.0. But obviously we have, fears and we have scarcity. So I remember thinking that my first life coach in Bali, who was 100 Indonesian dollars, she like gave me a discount because it was normally 150 a session. I was like, that's a lot of money. And like, I didn't pay her all of it at first. I said, can I pay you half now and half later? And then all my friends would, was like, that's so much money. Like, it's just, wow, the perception of what I'm worth and like, the lifelong learning, like, dude, like for sure, I'm totally happy if people think that healing should be free. I'm like, totally, like go ahead. Do what suits you. Do what suits you. I've given a lot of
Yeah.
healing away for free and I never got results. People weren't in it, they didn't finish. I've never had anybody finish. So
People don't
my
value if they've
my
not.
interest is getting the helping you do
Yeah.
what you say you want. So for sure. Um
And if I may add, Lani, I've done expensive programs and they were way more expensive, but nothing worked because not necessarily because I wasn't ready, but because that support isn't there. They
mm,
just get you enrolled and then
mm,
that's it. They leave you on to your own devices. So
mm.
just having a video to listen to is sometimes not enough. And I'm not
Yes.
undermining it. Your videos
Yes.
are
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
amazing. But then having that support on top, which is for lifetime, is just a lot of value for the money we give.
I totally agree. I said that in a live the other day. I was like, can you imagine if I just sent you if I only sent you the one part of this program, which was just this healing sessions, and
Yeah,
you didn't have all the rest of it? Like, that wouldn't work. That's why that's not what I offer.
yeah,
Because my job is to do whatever I need to do to help you get to support you. And I agree. I've tried that before and I've done programs like that and
yeah.
it didn't work for
It
me.
won't.
And so I totally agree with that.
It's the same. I mean, in my profession, if I provide free treatment, they don't value it, or a free advice, they won't value it. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's the same. You value when you've paid for something, but you were getting a lot for what we pay, and that constant support and the fact that we can approach you anytime. You're
yeah,
there, and that makes a huge difference.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I literally
Yeah, it's
feel
not
like you
just
were
like
there,
take the credit card and then like
and
never
then
see
gone.
me again.
Never see you again.
Yeah, yeah. You can't get rid of me. No way.
Don't want
I
to.
love it. Okay, so what do you think is, because obviously we did talk about this before we started recording, is like I would say that Purpose is a baseline program. I would say that we, just like any other program, like you wouldn't just start at collegiate level basketball, you would need to get the foundations. And everybody wants the really sexy Navy SEALs, freaking, oh, I want to make 10 grand in 3 days and, I want to do this, but and anybody can. I mean, honestly, if you hire somebody to write copyright and like, so write ads for you and you just do sales calls all day and you just sell and never help the person, like you can make 20 grand easily in a month, but then like, obviously you can't sustain it because that's just like fake. But again, anybody can lose 100 pounds. It's just like, we're talking about sustaining, and we're talking about a lifetime of growth and happiness. And that's like, it's not like a tooth you can pull, like, oh, let me just pull my ego out and then I never have to deal with it again. Surgery done. Yay, bye. Like, that's not, so everybody wants the sexy payoff. And again, that's the
Yeah.
society that we're in. Instant gratification. I just want to see the payoff. But I mean, I spend a lot of my time on foundation. So I am still like, I am doing all the foundational work that we do in Purpose. And like, yes, I've obviously been doing this for a while and our business is huge and my goals are huge, but I'm doing my same morning routine that I teach you in Purpose. I'm doing all my meditations. I'm doing my strong woman poses. Like, I'm doing my nighttime routine. So my foundations are so important. So without the foundation, there's just no point, because anyone can lose the weight, but I'm talking about like, not using food as a coping mechanism or whatever. I'm just using that as a metaphor for our spirituality, obviously. So we need those foundations for sure. That's like so important. So what is the thing that you're most proud of and your most badass moment? Like, what was the thing in Purpose where when you just shifted to like, dude, I'm like a badass. And then obviously, we keep growing and evolving and keep blooming. But what was the moment that you're most proud of that you learned in Purpose?
Um, there were so many.
Tell him.
So
I love hearing him. Go ahead.
being present, I think, has been life-changing for me. And what that has done is I've got two kids, so a boy and a girl, and my daughter quickly came round and she was having major trouble and issues at school. So she listens more easily and she started noticing that there's a shift in mum. So she started kind of copying. And then I literally gave her my link to Purpose. I said, you can listen to this. Of course, you can't go on the Facebook group, but just listen to it. And she did. And then she was asking me questions. So there was shifts occurring in her. And then my boy, he's obviously 19-year-old. He's a little man. So he wouldn't say it, but he could tell the difference. So this I need to quote, because a week before I joined your program, I was sitting here in my kitchen crying, and I'm trying to hide it from my son. And he came in and he was not happy about it. And he said, I'm sick and tired of seeing the way you are. And I was like, can't you see I'm unwell? And he was like, I just want you to be well. And that hit me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so consumed in my own misery. My son doesn't want to know me, and he left the room, and it was like a major blow. And now he comes back from work and all he wants to do is just chat and sit with me, and like a major shift.
That's like a miracle, man. That's priceless.
So my bonding with my kids is a major change, and it's all down to Purpose I started with. And going back to, yes, we need Purpose as a foundation. I would not suggest it to anyone to go into love without doing Purpose.
Yeah,
it's like missing out primary years of school and then school.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're gonna start in college. Like, that's just mean. I've tried that before. It didn't work for me, even though I think I'm super badass. I needed the foundations. That's so beautiful and so amazing. I love those shifts. You started painting. You painted a beautiful photo of Chris and I at the waterfalls, which I love, and it's so beautiful. Your confidence, I mean, just, dude, you've bloomed. Like, what the heck? The new Shehla, what's your headspace? How do you wake up? Where's your energy? Where's your spirituality? Because you're glowing. It's like hard to actually remember. It's like hard for me to remember the old Shehla. I'm like, no, glowing light beam. Like, it's like, isn't it? It's like, oh yeah.
Is that her? Yes. I sometimes literally, I look at the videos, early videos for Purpose to see, oh my God, I can see that energy was so different. June, 6th of June this year, I have been waking up at 6. I stay in bed and do the first morning meditation, your morning meditation, which is about 12 minutes. I can't get out of bed without it. Then I do my Reiki, and then most days I do an exercise in the morning, which is so unlike me. I was like the queen of excuses and staying in bed, and I would be up, but just frying my brain on social media, which my phone packed up. I still don't have a phone, but I didn't miss it. I'm not missing social media apart from Facebook, which I can access. So it's like I couldn't imagine life without a phone or social media. It's gone. I don't want it.
It's a drug, isn't it? It's a total addiction.
And the morning routine is like my go-to. And any day, if I would miss it for any reason, it just affects the entire day.
I am the same, sis. That's why I am so sharing with you, because don't think that I haven't been like, I mean, come on. I've been doing this for long enough. Do I really need to? And I've tested it, and I have gotten in my fucking head and been like, this is not me. Like, what is happening? I'm reacting. Of like a schizophrenic voice that's like, why did they do that? Why did they do that? Why did it? I'm like, oh. So I tested it because I would like to know, is this something that is this a muscle that, maybe has like a 2-year shelf life, and then you can do it for 2 years and you don't have to do it again. And it's just not. It's a muscle the same as the same as working out. It's a part of life, the same as breathing. And yeah, I'm exactly the same. If I don't choose the narrative that plays in my mind, and if I don't choose what I'm focusing on, then I will very easily, if I just say I just quit doing what I'm teaching, I would no doubt in my mind would go back to suicidal. I know I'm not going to stop, so that's why I can say with conviction, it's never going to happen. I'm never going to feel suicidal again because I have the power to choose this. I'm not going to choose to stop, but I'm the same. I can feel such a shift if I don't. I've tested it.
Yeah, and you're so right. It's training the muscle, and there are slips, and there are times when you do go
We
down
try
and
and test,
ego takes
when we
over.
try and test it.
Exactly. And what the difference is, now I have the tools. Now I know, even in a, if there's like a shorter duration dark patch, not to the extent of suicide or anything, but just
Right.
like a little trigger and then spiral down, I know that I'll be fine. I know that I've got the tools. And sometimes I've noticed it's just that I don't have the energy to access the tools because you're just going in a spiral for whatever reason, monthly cycle or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you rise up and you rise up stronger and you think,
Yes. Yes. And faster. I love that. Yes. It's like, oh my God. Okay, of course I learned this faster. Dude, totally. We test it. Everybody has to test it. I haven't met anyone actually, because I've tested it. I haven't met anyone that's like, I'm gonna see if I can stop doing that and testing it. And I also haven't met anybody who doesn't have an ego. So I'm not saying it's a surgery. I'm gonna pluck your, I'm gonna do the surgery on you and then your ego's gonna be gone. And also the essence of life in and of itself is challenges. And so what we get better at is not having the challenges turning into suffering. So before, when I used to get a challenge, spin me out, depressed, anxious, can't sleep, can't get out of my head, suicidal, hate everybody, drink, drugs, numbing, social media, naked pictures, men, like that's what had happened. And then once I started realizing I can choose in this, and then so now it's like, yeah, it's a little bit uncomfortable when I have a challenge, but the whole journey is that it's less suffering and less suffering. So it's not that life gets easier because the challenges are always going to be there, but it's that we don't have to go off on the ego and act like it's personal or, oh my God, why is this happening to me? Or I'm a horrible person. Like it's just those are both egos. So then it doesn't turn into this insane suffering. And that's so beautiful.
Lani, I just need to add because you mentioned men. And can you imagine? I've
Yes,
forgotten.
I
I've forgotten. I can't believe it. So when I started Purpose, 4 years, I was hooked on to a man. And I was the most codependent, kind of, the relationship was awful, but I just thought I was in love. And that's what I wanted to get over. But I've forgotten. So in Purpose, I got off him. And then somehow something happened and I was getting attached again. And then in Love, major breakthrough. And I can't even, when you ask me what was the major thing, I can't even remember. There was an asshole that I was attached to. It's like,
Obsessed
men
with,
don't
obsessed, you're obsessed with him, addicted, codependent. I love the way that you described it. You said I was umbilical cord attached.
Oh,
Like
yes,
it was that gnarly.
it was.
Obsessed. And every woman can relate. I mean, the hello, like upset we get it's the woman's kryptonite. I'm not kidding you. This is where I see the majority of women like just dropping their standards. Like I'd rather be obsessed with this man and or this miserable relationship that's not love than like face the fact of doing my own inner work and facing me. It's men is a woman's kryptonite. We will do the stupidest things. We're not stupid, but we will do very stupid things. It's like how who was that? What was I on dumb pills? Like it's so crazy. I like laugh. I get the biggest idiot shivers. I'm like, no, you didn't. Like I would like chase like 20 like 2-year-olds around when I was like 30 for like begging for attention. I'm like, and not that this age is a thing, but they could give it. It's like it was like a boy, and I'm like begging, like, don't you like my outfit? Oh my God, when she's look at my hair, like. Oh my God, that is not a 30-year-old woman. Like, I'm not kidding. I
Yeah.
wanted things that like a 10-year-old girl does for attention. I was doing that as a grown woman. Like I get idiot shivers, but I also laugh about it because I'm like, girl, you come far. You done good for yourself.
We've learned, yes. So I can't believe that he didn't even come to my mind to mention.
I know because
Not until you said
you
men.
have transcended that. Yeah, totally.
It's like men. I'm not seeking men. I'm not there. I'm
You
just
don't need a
enjoying
man to save you anymore or make you feel good about yourself, and your self-worth isn't in a man. And that is like, I mean,
It's
that's amazing.
huge.
Huge, yeah.
It's huge
Huge.
for me because my self-worth was only being derived from him and what he thought of me.
Same.
And now it's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, yeah.
I am me. And
Yes,
it's all about me.
yes, an empowered woman, a queen. A queen doesn't beg for love. A queen doesn't get her self-worth from a man. We love men. That's not what we're saying, but we don't beg a man to love us. That's not a queen.
No, not at all.
Okay, final question. What would you say to a woman who is listening and really resonates? So, is like, wait, did she just say that she forgot that she used to get self-worth from men and she's all up in the grips of that umbilical cord, like, I need the man, I need the man, and maybe, really bummed and sad and having suicidal thoughts. And again, like, I think that we lose faith when I was the same. I invested in, I mean, $20,000 programs Chris and
Hmm.
I invested in, and I started losing my faith. Like I was like, oh, well, that's not going to work. I guess they just don't work for me. And then I was being all resentful and judgy and blah, blah, blah. So maybe she's lost some faith. And is there even any hope for me?
Hmm.
What would you say to her? She's really struggling and hurting because remember that feeling when you were crying in your kitchen and it's like it's such a dark wave where you don't want to do that, but it's this tidal wave. And how the fuck can you fight a tidal wave? That's what it feels like. That's what it felt like for me. So what'd you say to that woman who wants help, but it's scared? I mean, isn't that what stops us? Afraid?
Fear and lack of trust. You'd think nobody can do it for me, but there is hope. There is a lot of hope for anybody who's in that place where I was just 5 months ago. 5 months is nothing, and my shifts happened within 2 months. So there is hope. Join the program, see for yourself. It's so worth it. You will not regret it. If it's not men, it can be anything else. And this program covers absolutely everything. So like in love, I've forgiven my mom, which I didn't do in purpose, but there's so many things, so many shifts that happen. So at least start at purpose, so worth it, and then see how your life will change around. And this is genuine me, the honest me. I'm not faking this. This is not a fake me. This is the real me. Seriously. And I didn't have a smile. I couldn't smile. I forgot how to smile. And now it's just natural. I giggle. I giggle after years. I think I giggled in my childhood. So please just give it a go. No one in the world, I can't believe that they couldn't benefit from purpose or love. It's just so authentic. You can't go wrong with it.
Yes, I feel the same. Total goosebumps. Thank you so much for sharing. I love you. You are amazing. And I'm just so, so grateful because so many people they're like, I'm sure people are going to the women's going to be like the whole time, like, she feels that way. She thought that. And that's how we, heal is we just stop hiding the way we're feeling and we stop pretending like, oh, I wasn't suicidal. That never happened to me. My life is perfect. Everything's amazing. Look at my positive quote on Instagram. Like that's not how we help. So thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. I love you so much.
I love you too. Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure.
Such amazing results. So freaking proud of the incredible women. It's just so amazing to watch a woman go from withering and miserable and low to like embracing and flying and using your wings. So if you want results like these, you've got to check out, come into, and be a part of the Purpose program. Now, the Purpose program is going to give you really simple strategies to get out of your head and get into your body, to learn how to choose where you want to put your focus. So right now you have these subconscious stories running that are actually making you really unhappy, but it's not happening now. So I created out of my own need, because I was literally suicidal and at rock bottom, and I had tried everything I felt. I tried crazy stuff, so many things, and I ended up suicidal. So I thought, this is insane. I can't be like trying so hard and then being so unhappy and so miserable that I don't even want to be here. So what I did was I created this way to get out of my head and get in to my body. And in our body right now is really, sis, the only place where you feel safe. We can't feel safe in the past, and we can't feel safe about dreaming or freaking out about the future. And my jam is, the simpler it is, that the easier you can do it, right? It's like if you have one step, you can do that versus if you have 100. So I'm like, let's do this as fast as possible and have as much fun. So in the purpose program, you're gonna get everything that you need, super simple, cater to your schedule, and you'll learn the same things that I've learned and taught thousands of women all over the world to get out of their head, into their body, and choose their feelings and what they focus on and what thoughts they give energy to. Now, what you're gonna get in the purpose program is a community of hundreds and hundreds, so many goosebumps, of like-minded women. So this is the part where society comes in and it's like, you're a threat because you're prettier, and if you have a man, then that's threatening to me because there's not enough for me. And that's ego. That's not love. So what we get to do is actually really experience a sisterhood and like a family where so many women are so happy when you win and when you start making these shifts and growing your confidence and growing your power. And they're just as happy for you as if they did it. It's like next level. Every woman that's ever come in is like, I didn't even know this was possible. I was like, thank you. It's like so amazing. And I mean, there's so many parts of the purpose program. But another really amazing thing is you get support and a community and help and love and guidance for life. I tried, again, so many programs that didn't work for me. Oh, here's 6 weeks. Okay, well, I felt a little bit okay for 6 weeks and then I dropped on my ass again, or 6 months or a year or whatever. But we're constantly evolving as humans. If we're not growing, we're dying. So that part, that access, you get support 24 hours a day for the rest of your life if you want. This is how we get the results. We grow together, we're invested, and we care. So if you're like, damn, I need to hear more about this, click the button below. You can hear more, everything that's included, and you can join the purpose program today. So excited. Hope to see you in there. Mwah! Bye, sis.